Well, if you guys were hoping for me to hit rock bottom and release the Brett Keane files, you can abandon all hope now, because something incredible has happened, and it's restored my faith in mankind and the ability of people to change. This one's going to be a pure vlog. So, I told you guys in previous videos a little bit about my living situation, how I rent a big-ass room in a house. And because it's a low rent, cheap rent kind of deal, along with that comes some interesting folks. You know, my living situation is almost like a bad joke because it's so diverse. You guys remember that comedy sketch show on MTV, The State? Remember the Jew, the Italian, and the redhead gay, they all live together on Avenue A. Yeah, well, it's kind of like that. So let's go over a list of some of the roommates that are here. We've got an Indian guy named Arun. We've got a Chinese guy named Ji. We've got a Mexican guy named Jacob. We've got a straight-off-the-boat Jamaican immigrant named Orville and his wife. And we had, but no longer have, another cracker like me named Casey. And Casey was an ex-Marine. Is an ex-Marine. I shouldn't say it past tense like that. I say it past tense because he doesn't live here anymore. Well, I kind of made friends with this guy right away. We were sort of fast friends. And when he first moved in, he was doing all right. He was in school. He was working full-time, keeping his bills paid. He liked to drink. He liked to party. He was a party animal. But he kept his shit together. Well, gradually over time, things started to get worse. We would find puke in the kitchen sink. We'd find him just passed out on the living room floor. He would come in at all hours of the night with strange women we didn't recognize, and it was pretty obvious they were prostitutes. After a while, he started doing coke, and he just kind of went off the rails. So, one night, now I wasn't here for this, I found out secondhand. So one night at about 3 or 4 a.m., from what I'm told, somebody broke into the house, and it ended up being a pimp who was owed money by Casey, and he was trying to recoup his losses. And he didn't know which room was Casey's room, so he ended up sneaking into Orville's room. Bad idea. See, the Fakesagan isn't the only one in this house who owns guns. And Orville has himself a nice 9mm. Well, Orville drew down on this guy, racked the slide, and, you know, I still don't know why he didn't call the cops. Maybe because he's black and he's watched too much mainstream U.S. media already, and he's got this impression that it would have gone badly for him. I don't know why. But he just drew down on this guy and basically told him to get the fuck out and never come back, and he never has. Well, after that, we all kind of got together and we realized we can't have Casey staying here anymore. So we kind of had an intervention with him, and we said, look, if you don't stop the drinking, stop the coke, then we're going to have to kick you out. And it seemed like it went well. It looked like things were going to change. But they didn't. He just got worse and worse. And we had to ask him to leave. Well, after that, none of us really thought we would see him again. And a month or two went by. And then one night, late at night again, there was a loud knock on the door. Jacob answered it. And it was Casey, and he let him in. And when I came home from work, big surprise to me, there's Casey sitting there in the living room talking to Jacob. And the very first question I asked him is how many days you got, man? How many days sober? And he held up the glass in his hand and said 0. So, we decided to let him stay the night, crash on the living room couch. I said, and then now this was a Saturday night. So I said to him, hey man, I'm going to church in the morning tomorrow. Why don't you come with me? And he said that he would. But the next morning, I woke up and he was gone. So, after that, again, I didn't think we would hear from him again. And then I found out that Arun was following him on Facebook. And as you guys know, the Fakesagan doesn't have a Facebook. I don't have a Twitter, Instagram, any of that social networking crap. The only social media I do is YouTube. So I asked Arun, I said, do you have some kind of contact info so I can reach out to this guy, see what's going on with him? And he had his phone number. So he gave me the number. And I started texting Casey. And these following texts tell the story. I said, how you doing, man? You were gone when I woke up. Didn't get to drag you to church with me. He said, hey, Chris, we should definitely hang out. I need true friends right now. I said, dude, where have you been? Are you homeless? And he said, unfortunately, yes. And I said, well, where are you right now? And he said, Redacted Street Library. And I said, okay, I'm on my way. He said, let me know when you're here. Well, I ended up picking him up at the library. And that's where he was crashing to basically stay out of the cold, stay off the street. I offered to let him crash at the place again, rent-free for a little while, because his story is that at this point he was basically in a Spike Lee 25th hour type situation where he's enjoying his last days of freedom before he has to go to jail for a couple months. He got caught with a DUI. Got caught driving drunk. He didn't do anything. There was no crash. There was no injuries to anybody. He just got caught. And it wasn't the first time. So he's got to go to jail for that in a couple weeks. But I put my head together with the other roommates, and I said, why don't we just let this guy crash here for a while rent free? What's the most damage he can do in a few weeks before he has to go to jail anyway? Well, anyway, after I picked him up from the library, he wanted a ride to this, basically an AA meeting. It wasn't actually AA, it's some other kind of rehab thing. And I said, shit, man, I've got to go to work. You're going to make me late. But I brought him, and I actually did end up being half an hour late to work that day. Well, on the way to this meeting, we're in my truck, and we're talking. And amazingly, he relates to me. Yeah, before I come back to the house, to the spot, I'm going to go out and get a pitcher. He fucking admitted it. He's going to go get a big old pitcher of beer. And I said to him, look, why the fuck are you wasting my time? Like, is this meeting a court-ordered thing? Are you just going because you have to go? No, it's not court-ordered. I don't have to go. And I'm like, well, why are you going if you're not taking it seriously? If you're not even going to try to stop drinking? And he says, well, they want me to be there. I don't want to let these guys down. And I said, look, I don't know anything about this program you're in, but I do know this. They're just doing their fucking jobs. They don't care if you really get better or not. That's all about you. It's all about your fucking life. Which is half over. And it's ending one day at a time. I mean, what the fuck are you doing? Why am I wasting my time making myself late to work driving you to this shit if you're already planning on falling off the wagon the minute you get out? Well, I guess it was food for thought. But I dropped him off, got myself to work late, and he never ended up coming back to the house. We didn't see him after that. And we didn't hear from him since. So honestly, my assumption was that he was either passed out drunk in a gutter somewhere or dead of hypothermia, alcohol poisoning, drug overdose, maybe even stabbed by a hooker for all I know. And this is one of those things that, you add it on top of everything else. My failure with Inmendum, my failure with Brett Keane. It's just one of these things that makes me lose faith in humanity and in myself, in my own ability to change. It's part of the reason I've been feeling like shit. I just haven't talked about it on YouTube. Because it doesn't involve you guys, and what purpose is there for you to know, really? Like I said, I didn't think that I was going to hear from him again. But today, I did. I woke up today, and I had this text waiting for me. Hey Chris, thanks again for dropping me off treatment on Tuesday. I've been sober since then, just staying with my folks. I hope you didn't get any shit from your employer. The end of the text is cut off, but I'll tell you what it says. A little bit, but it's all good. If what you just said is true, it was worth it, though. So, bottom line, faith in humanity restored, spiritual batteries fully charged, 100%. That's all the news that's fit to print. Keep the faith.